Arne, really good to meet you. I was thinking that it's school report time. Lots of kids are getting their school reports. So what would be your school report, do you think, for this last year? A for effort or achievements? What would it be?
Yeah, in Holland we go from 0 to 10.
Yes,
so,
we do too
and
as
here,
well.
Oh, you do as well?
To
okay.
9.
Okay, A is a 9.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe slightly less because we lost the League Cup final, of course.
Okay.
Went down in the third round or fourth round in the FA Cup and were beaten on penalties by Paris Saint-Germain, so that still hurts a little bit. But when you look at the Premier League season, I think we deserve a 10. But because of the other exits, then 8 to 9, 8.5. Let's put it that way.
Okay, not bad.
No.
It sounds like you have some regrets. Do you have any regrets over this season?
No, regrets, maybe not the right word, but you always reflect and look back at it and say, could we have done better? And it's my first season here in England, so it's the first time I've experienced a season without a winter break. And we lost the League Cup final in March against a very strong and good Newcastle team. So that is the main reason why we've lost it. We've lost against Paris Saint-Germain in March, against a very good Paris Saint-Germain team, especially at that moment of time. I think they were 10 games in a row unbeaten, no goals conceded, 40 goals scored.
Crazy.
So they were at the top of their game at that moment. But coincidence or not, it was those two games were not the best. The home game against Paris Saint-Germain was a very good game from us. So might this have anything to do with us playing from November to March, mainly with the same players? So I'm not saying I'm going to change this, but it is something that is still going through my mind.
How will you change that? Strengthen your squad?
Rotating maybe a bit more. So a few players that have been so key for us this season. 2 out of these 3 games, they weren't at their best. So this simply has to do with the strength of Newcastle and Paris Saint-Germain, or this also had to do with 4 months in a row non-stop playing. And I'm not talking about the physical part, I'm also talking about the mental part. So something that goes through my mind. I at this moment believe because we didn't rotate that much, that's also the reason why we won the league. But maybe it's also the reason why we didn't win. No, why we were not at our best Paris Saint-Germain away and the final in the League Cup.
In terms of you taking over from Jurgen Klopp, it's from the outside looking in, it seems seamless. Is that how it was for you? Or do you feel it was an easy transition?
No, I think in football nothing is easy. You have to work really hard for it, especially in the Premier League, to achieve what we've achieved. But I think in general for a club it's maybe better that only the manager leaves than 4 or 5 of your star players or your best players leave, because that's in the end the players win the games for you. And we do have impact as managers, but Jurgen was a very good manager, of course, been so successful over here. I wasn't that bad.
No, absolutely not.
Either. So if you then are working with the same players, then I think it's not so weird that you can expect similar things.
What are you like as a manager? Because we heard from Salah recently, sort of saying that his first impression of you was tough. Are you tough?
As a human being, in the relation, I think that is not the word I would use.
Okay.
If it's about judging them on what they do on the training ground or in the weekend during the game, then I think I'm tough. So I'm tough on, but not on does he miss a chance, yes or no, but I'm tough on work rate during the week and during the game. But as a human being,
they're quite nice.
I hope that they feel quite nice. Yeah.
You come across well, so that's okay. Your in-game management, I'm interested in that because it appears that we've never witnessed anything like this. You know, you're very able to adapt in-game. Is that something that's like vital to you? Is that something you've learnt? Because I don't think we've witnessed as much. We see what you do at half time. You're happy to change things up.
Yeah. I think that's one of the jobs we as a manager have. So we cannot influence that much during the game, but we can influence at halftime a little bit, and with the substitutions we make, we can also influence them. And of course, pre-match, we can influence a lot on what we expect the other team would do. What I've noticed is that I wouldn't say all of them, but most of my team meetings before the game, I can just throw them away in the bin because so many teams did something different against us than they did the 5, 6, 7 or 8 games before they played against us, especially later onwards in the season. So then halftime is an interesting tool to use to show them, you expected probably this, and it's a good thing, but it's maybe something we have to develop, is that these players do quite well what you tell them to do. So if I tell them we have to do build-up like this because we expect a certain press from the other team, then if the press is different, they still try to do the same build-up. Gets better and better, but that for a period of time, that was definitely the situation. So they listened quite well, quite good, but sometimes we had to adjust at halftime, and that's what we did then.
The fact that you've won the league, with a month to spare, has that given you time to kind of look ahead more and prep for next season, and kind of look at your squad and think, these are the changes that I need to make right now, rather than do it in the summer?
No, I think after working for 10 months with them, we, because it's much more we than it is I, know how we can strengthen the squad and what we can even do better, even if we keep the same squad next season. So we didn't need this month for that. But it's been a good month for all these players to be ready when they go to the national teams, and there are a few players that are going to play the Euros with the under-21s of England, for example, and we've tried to give them a bit more playing time as well, so they are in the best possible way prepared for a big moment in their careers as well. So it's been a mixture of reasons why we've rotated more in the last few games, but if you look at the Arsenal lineup, we played mainly with the ones that have started throughout the whole season, and I think that's also what we can expect for Sunday when we play Palace. So the only 2 exceptions were Chelsea and Brighton. If I look at all the data, we've run just as much, we've worked just as hard, but like Paris Saint-Germain, like Newcastle, because those are very good teams, you can lose a game of football if you play Chelsea away and Brighton away. We're not the first ones, and will also not be the last ones that lose in these 2 games.
Yeah, I'm sure. What will your squad look like? Do you kind of know? Will it look very different from what it looks like now in terms of August?
No, definitely not. No, there's a reason why we won the league, and there's a reason why we were close of winning the Champions League, which sounds weird because we went out already quite early, but we were top of the league table, but we were so unlucky to face Paris Saint-Germain in their best moment of the season. Till now, we were the only team that over 2 games brought them to, I think no one brought them to extra time, and we brought them to penalties. So that tells you how close we were over there. We have a very strong team, so it would be weird and strange to change a lot.
Yeah.
But in this competition, in this league, everybody tries to become better. Everywhere around the world, everyone tries to become better. But in this league, this 9 out of 10 times goes hand in hand with spending a lot of money. So we haven't done that last season, which is remarkable, and that probably makes it even more special that we've won the league. Someone also told me, I don't know if it's true, but if it's true, I lie because of that person, that since Alex Ferguson, there's not been a team that has given so many academy minutes to players that have won the league, to teams that have won the league. So not sure if it's true.
Okay.
But it's a strong signal towards every youth academy all around England as well, that you can win a league title with a lot of academy minutes. And not only by players, but in this league you also, once in a while, need to strengthen the team by buying players.
Absolutely. And the fact that you've won the title, you've set the bar really high. So how do you go again? Do you think it'll be harder to retain it than winning it this season?
Not harder, but just as hard. And that's for the simple reason that there are so many competitors in this competition, and in my opinion, this league gets stronger and stronger and stronger. The number 15 or 16 or 16 and 17 can play a Europa League final against each other. I don't think there's any league in the world where you could see this happening. I know that there's a change in setup in the Europa League. So this is the first season that no teams can go from Champions League towards the Europa League. So that does influence which teams are going to go to the final. I expect Conference League finals and Europa League finals the upcoming years, if they don't change this setup with Champions League teams going down, that almost every season is going to be an English final or an English team in the final.
Because it's so strong.
You cannot compare the number of, now it's the number 6 or 7, I think, that's going to play Europa League, but you cannot compare the number 6 and 7 from this league with the 6 and 7 of Spain or Italy or Holland or Belgium or Germany. The 6 or 7 in England have 3 times as much money, or maybe even more, than all these teams I'm not just talking about. So I think it's, the playing field is a little bit unhonest, if you want to call it like this. So it's a big advantage for the English teams. Let's put it that way.
Just finally, summer, what does that look like? We've seen your partying skills in Ibiza. Is the plane set and ready for Monday to go there, or how will you relax over this summer?
I wouldn't give myself an 8.5 for my partying skills.
We would.
I think if you really looked closely, you would see a person that was a bit that was not completely at ease, a bit uncomfortable. So I've said it in some interviews in the Dutch media. Normally, when I've had a few beers, I would start something that looks like dancing. Now I'm much more aware that the cameras from the iPhones or the Androids or whatever, Google Pixel, because that's a sponsor of us.
Well done.
Could be rolling. So I'm not even trying to make any dance move anymore, but I will be with the family and friends probably as well during the upcoming 1.5 months. But if one thing is clear in my life and our lives as a manager, probably once a day, sometimes even more than once a day, I will be in contact with Richard, our sports director.
Always thinking about football.
For me, this is the most important part of the season, because you have to select your squad, not only your team. That's what you do in pre-season. You try to find out what is your best team. But the squad is so important. One of the reasons why we've been successful is that everybody accepted his role this season, and therefore you need to do the right things in this break to get characters, to get players playing together where everybody accepts his role. So you cannot have 3 Mo Salahs for one position, because then my life is going to be hell. So we need to be smart also. We need enough quality, but not too many quality.
I hear you. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Good luck for next season.
Thank you.
Thank you.